Our lesson objective is to inform young teens and adults about the current problems with sexual education curriculum. Through introducing various sex education experts and investigating their viewpoints on the current implication of sex education, we'll pinpoint the overall issues with the present methods of teaching.
Who gets what sex ed is really left up to the states, and there it gets super confusing. Only 22 states mandate any kind of sex education. 18 states in the District of Columbia require that information on contraception be provided. 37 states require that information on abstinence be provided, and even fewer, 13, require that instruction to be medically accurate.
Comprehensive sex ed versus abstinence-only sex ed. According to the Sexuality Information and Education Council of the United States, comprehensive sex education includes age-appropriate and medically accurate information on human development, relationships, decision-making, abstinence, contraception, and disease prevention. According to the Advocates for Youth, abstinence-only education teaches abstinence only until marriage is the only way to protect oneself from unplanned pregnancy and STIs, as well as harmful psychological and physical effects from sex.
Who is Amy Lang? Lang started off her career in her early 20s volunteering as a sexual health educator and counselor after completing a master's in adult education. After starting a family, Lang began working as a sexual health counselor for Planned Parenthood in Seattle. In 2005, she started Birds and Bees and Kids, which prides itself in helping parents have sex talks with their children. The organization has come up with specific scripts for parents based off the age and gender of their children. Lang acknowledges herself as an expert in sexual behavior and development in children, providing herself with an understanding of what kids need to know at each age. After speaking to teenagers about their experience of sexual education, Lang found that teens say that they are okay with waiting, but also want information on birth control and STIs in order to protect themselves. While researching and finding that the United States has the highest teen pregnancy rate in the industrialized world and a high rate of STIs among teenage girls, Lang came to the conclusion that abstinence-only sex ed is not effective and is a disservice to teenagers. Overall, Lang believes curriculum should be taught as valuing abstinence, but also including information on birth control and contraceptives.
Our next sex education expert is Elizabeth Schroeder. Schroeder received a doctorate of education in human sexuality education from Widener University and a Master of Social Work from NYU. For over 20 years, Schroeder has consulted and directed education and training for schools, parent groups, and youth organizations around the world. She speaks at sexuality and adolescent development conferences and has received various honors throughout her career. She has served as the executive director of Answer, an organization which provides access to sexuality education, vice president of training and education at Planned Parenthood of New York City, and manager of education and special projects at Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Schroeder created the first online teacher training course in sexuality education for teachers in East and Southern Africa, as well as taking the lead author position on the first ever K-12 sexuality education curriculum. Elizabeth Schroeder's view on sexual education is that teaching teens to just say no is not working and is used to frighten teens out of being sexually active because they could contract an STI. Programs ignore non-heterosexual and non-gender congruent individuals and promote girls in heterosexual relationships to be responsible for moral boundaries. Instead, sex educators should promote sexuality as a broad term with a variety of topics, and this should provide a basis for sexuality education programs.
Who is Deborah Hauser? Hauser holds a Master of Public Health in Population Planning and International Health from the University of Michigan. She formed and enacted sexuality education, HIV prevention, health promotion, teen pregnancy prevention, and teen parenting programs while she served as the Director of Community Health Services for the City of Atlantic City. Hauser now serves as the President and Executive Director for the Advocates of Youth, where she has worked for 23 years. In Hauser's opinion, all sexual education teachers should be well trained and teach age-appropriate information. Sex education should incorporate the topics of reproduction, abstinence, contraception, sexual violence, body image, and sexual orientation. The information taught should be honest and help teens to avoid unintended pregnancy and disease. Hauser found that many abstinence-only programs contain false information and their curriculum focuses on only heterosexual marriages and ignores LGBTQ youth. Through our research of various experts, we found that they all agreed that abstinence-based sex education is not effective. After evaluating the three stances, it seems that creating A curriculum which promotes abstinence at a young age but also explains contraceptives and STIs would be most beneficial and favorable for today's youth.